Is going up a lot by the day. So secure a value when you see it. And this one is another great opportunity. This is the Satin Finish Silver Eagle Dollar.
Yeah, this is the one. You know, I stocked a few more of these. We came very close to sell out, and I said, you know, and what I did is I only got 470 of these, and I went in the marketplace and I had to pay up a little bit for these, but I held the price. Because this has been one of the most popular coins that we've sold here all year in 2017, even though it's a 2016 coin. Because I didn't get to sell this coin in 2016. Didn't get to sell it in 2016.
And why was that again?
Because they released it so late in the year. This is the fall between the cracks coin.
That's the one.
This is the coin right here. I think this is one of the most significant American silver eagles that has ever been released by the United States government. And the key to this one is the value and the price at $149. That's my original price. I've not gone up a single solitary penny on this, on a coin that I think is absolutely 100% significant. So, let me tell you about this coin. We're going to spend a little bit, well, as much time as there is to sell 474.
Yeah, exactly. They're going already.
Somewhere between, you know, 8 and 12 minutes is my guess, because they're already starting to go. So first off, this coin was a 2016 United States American Eagle, and it's an SP coin. That means it's satin finish. That means that this coin is a special presentation coin denoted by the W or West Point mint mark. So it's not a regular American silver eagle. It's also from the 30th anniversary. And if you'll notice, it's marked 30th anniversary on the edge of the coin. Right there it says 30th anniversary. We didn't do that. That's a United States Mint designation. They have done many anniversary silver eagles in the course of the United States Mint. A 10th anniversary, 20th, 25th, and 30th. None of those coins are actually marked on the coin itself that it is a 30th or 10th or 25th or 20th anniversary coin. Only the 30th anniversary coin that you see here is. That very first coin, the 10th anniversary coin, not marked, it was just the first one with the W mint mark on it. That coin, the last one we sold here in this condition, was a mere $30,000.
Okay.
Now it's a little rarer than this coin, but it was still 29,000 bucks.
Dear. Oh.
I put it in, as a matter of fact, to put it on HSN.com so we could show it and say, hey, yeah, this is a $30,000 coin, but it sold almost immediately, so I can't even show it to you on HSN.com
wow,
anymore.
Are you serious? That's crazy.
It took me 2 years to find it, okay, in an Annex PR70.
Coin collecting is amazing.
Yeah, the 20th anniversary coin, once again, all it had was a special finish. It was what's called a reverse uncirculated coin. This coin is actually rarer than that coin. That coin in this condition we sell for, I think it's about $1,100, $1,000, right?
Okay.
I'll call it 1,000. I'll round down. We can sell for about $1,000. Then the 25th anniversary coin, which we sell for about $1,300, also just reverse proof, but not marked on the coin itself, 20th or 25th anniversary. That's about $1,300. And now I have the 30th anniversary SP. So here are your choices for the 30th anniversary special coins. You've got this coin. You've got $30,000, $1,000, $1,300, or $149.95.
I like this price.
And keep in mind, the regular American Eagle from 2016, just the mint state coin that they made 40 million of. This coin's 25 times rarer than that. We sell that coin, I think, for $119, $110, $129. Wow. I sell the regular proof coin from this year for $179. This is a special 30th anniversary coin. Now, on top of that's all the whole birthday part of it. Now let's look at the fact that they've made the SP coin since 2006. So this is the 10th anniversary of the Satin Finish Eagle. Of all of the Satin Finish Eagles that the United States government has made, this coin is the rarest. So it's the rarest satin finish of all of the Satin Finish Eagles. It's this special 30th anniversary. It's certified absolutely perfect. It's basically $1,000 cheaper than any of the other anniversary Eagles with the special finish and so on that are out there. So put all of those things together, and people say, well, how did it end up being so rare? Well, it was released, normally they release these coins, like the Satin Finish is usually released very early in the year.
March.
Okay? We've already have, this year's has already been released.
Oh yeah.
Okay? But because of the things that were going on at the Mint, they did not release this until December. As a matter of fact, I didn't even get to sell this in 2016.
They released it in when?
Like November.
November, yeah.
Late November. So I didn't even get to sell, I didn't even start selling this coin until 2017. Now, here's the amazing part about this coin. And this is where it gets really special. So people are going, so how can you do the $149.95? How can you go out there and do this? Well, I knew this. I've been doing this a long time. And while it took everybody else by surprise being released at the very end of the year, okay, and a lot of people, as a matter of fact, most people didn't buy the coin, I knew better. So what we did is we went ahead and jumped in and bought about 20% of the entire mintage.
Look at you.
We bought about 20% of the entire mintage. I bought about 20,000 of these coins. Wow. I bought about 20,000 of these coins and started having them certified because I knew this would be one of the most significant silver eagles ever made by the United States government. And not only is it significant, now normally a significant American silver eagle, we're about to sell the congratulations set coming out here. I mean, significant coins, $2,000 or $5,000 or $30,000 or $1,000, but rarely is a significant American eagle $149.95.
And I'm getting nervous because we have 450 left.
Right. And it's starting to build. Because what happens is people are going, okay,
I know.
I'm trying to get this. Now, keep in mind, this is not the regular mint state coin. So, in other words, the regular 2016. This has got the West Point mint mark. This has got the 30th anniversary on the edge of the coin. Now, as it comes down to this, as I had to pay up just a little bit for these coins, and I'm doing my level best to hold the price at $149.95, it would have been quite easy for me to save a couple of dollars and not include the red oak presentation box in this. But we didn't do that. So you've got the $14.95 red oak presentation window box, still going to be included. Gorgeous. The special magnets that you can see right there, that'll hold, that'll hold that pretty good in there. So you're going to get the box. Still my price at $149.95, and now this is what happens anytime I sell this. That's why I spend some time here.
Don't wait much longer.
Because now the phones are just all of a sudden just going to go crazy, folks. We're about to be under 400, and then we'll be under 300, under 200, and that's what happens. The problem with this is many collectors didn't even know it existed. Many dealers kind of went by the wayside on this particular coin. And now all of a sudden they're trying to get in, and it's now last year's coin. It was a fall between the cracks coin. It was a coin that people all of a sudden decided, I have to add that to my collection. That is a coin I absolutely positively have. And it's certified perfect.
Yeah, look at that.
Now's the time. Now's the time to be able to do that. And here's what we have. So we have 7 minutes. We have 429. Now what has happened is our phone calls have nearly doubled in about the last minute or so.
I just saw it happen.
That is just... And that's what happened. Of course, we have lots of people that are on HSN.com.
Well, and that's what scares me the most. When we get this limited, I don't want you to wait another minute because I can't see what people are doing or how many people are ordering this coin on HSN.com. A lot of you shop that way, which is smart. Everybody can shop either way. This is also a coin that's on FlexPay, by the way. A rare coin. I can't believe this is on FlexPay, honestly. I just noticed that. It's $37.49 to get it. So it is first come. Are we limiting one per customer?
No.
I didn't think so.
I don't play that game.
I didn't think so. I just kind of like it amazes me, really.
I hate that more than anything. We're going to limit you.
I do too.
I'm sorry.
Sometimes it has to be done. I'm glad it's not having to done.
Not on my watch. Okay. If you want to buy, I got 405. I got 395 left by the time. If you want to buy those, that's up to you. Okay, you make your own decisions here in America, and I'm part and parcel of that. Okay, I believe in that wholeheartedly. If you want one, that's great, but get at least one. Because let me go back and do this. And like I said, the phones are like I said, as is always the case, really start going. As you can see, we plummeted from 450 to 395 in a heartbeat. I have hundreds of people on the phone, and only about 5.5 minutes left. So I
don't think we're going to make that 5 minutes.
We may not. Let me explain to you what this is. This is a special coin for several reasons, and it's an anomaly of the United States Mint that helps make it so special and so significant. It was released in November of last year, and by November, you understand, everybody is focused on the 2017 coins. They're waiting for the mint state coins. They're waiting for the new gold to come out. They're waiting for all these other things to come out and all these other things to happen, and they just didn't buy this coin. And so what it creates is rarity because the government only makes these to order.
And it creates a frenzy.
It creates a frenzy, much as what happens on the phones right now. And the reason for that, it's an American silver eagle. The most popularly collected silver coin in the world today is an American silver eagle. So people want to collect these significant coins within the American silver eagle program. And those significant coins tend to be anniversary coins. The 10th anniversary, 20th anniversary, 25th, and 30th anniversary American Silver Eagles. Now, none of those coins, the 10th, 20th, or 25th, are actually labeled on the coin itself by the United States Mint.
On the edge?
This is the 30th anniversary United States American Silver Eagle that you can see right here. The 10th anniversary has no marking, still a $30,000 coin. The 20th anniversary has no marking on the coin, still a $1,000 coin. The 25th, and that's what we sell them for. The 25th coin, 25th anniversary coin, no marking on the coin. It's just a special series of the coin is what it was. That coin, $1,200, $1,300. This coin marked on the coin on the edge. It's 100% edge lettered. It is absolutely positively special at every level in every way. Yet I still have it at the original issue price, and only because I said I know this is going to be a winner. And not only do I know this is going to be a winner, I know this is going to be a spectacular winner. I know this is going to be one of the most significant silver eagles that the United States government has ever done. And for now, I'm 149. It was like when I had the Congratulations Eagles last week. I sold them for $1,500.
And now they're $2,000.
This week they're $2,000. Okay, I remember when the 20th anniversary coins came out, I sold them for $149. Okay, I sold them for $1,000 now. When the 25th anniversary coin came out, I sold that for $199. We sell that for $1,200 now.
Wow,
okay,
see,
so
that's one of the beautiful parts of collecting coins.
I've got that history. Okay, look, I can't tell the future. I mean, obviously, I'm not clairvoyant.
But you've got great intuition. You know.
Well, and I know the past.
And you know the past. Okay?
Exactly. I'm a numismatic historian, if you will. And those
How
are
many
the
years
things
in the industry?
In the industry, a little over 30. I'm about 33 years in the industry.
That's why I say we are so lucky. You hook us up with some of the best coins that you possibly can find, and obviously prices. That's why I love what you go through this history and the story in the back story, because it really helps us understand.
And it's not just the history of the coin itself. No. Then you have the way the coin's released. And the United States government, as well we know, is this kind of unique, it's not monolithic in any sense. So, I mean, things just happen. And of course they don't explain it to us. Of course they don't tell us. We're not involved or informed in any way, shape, or form. We're probably the largest retailer of United States Mint products. They've never once asked me anything about any of their coins.
Wow.
Ever. And when they sell coins, you know what I get for being for literally selling tens and tens of millions of dollars worth of government coins? I have to get in line just like everybody else and get my 1 or 2 or 3 coins or whatever it is. We get no special purchasing power. We get nothing.
Really?
Absolutely not. So everybody does that. So when I had the opportunity, because it fell through the cracks, because a lot of people weren't paying attention, when I had the opportunity to buy 20,000 coins instead of standing in line for onesies and twosies, I took it because I knew this coin would be special. I knew it would be spectacular. It's the only edge lettered, and I said, in their anniversary series, you know how many edge-lettered American Silver Eagles there are that have anything other than 30th anniversary on them? That would be 0.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Only the 30th anniversary edge lettering is the only edge lettering ever done on an American Silver Eagle. That's it.
Guys, we started off with about 500. Look at this, 250 are left. We have 200 people on the phones. Yeah. So I'm telling you, and you might be ordering other things, but we're gonna stay on this until every last coin is sold out, and they will. Don't wait. It is definitely, well, like you said, all the other coins of this caliber have, look at how much they've increased in value. And I know we can't make those guarantees.
I'm not guaranteeing these are, but I look at the numbers of the past.
Exactly.
Okay, and I know what happened to the 10th anniversary, the 20th anniversary, the 25th anniversary. I know what happened to all those. Okay, I know what's happening to the Congratulations Eagles this year. I know what happened to the Congratulations Eagles last year. These special editions, because so many people. Look, the regular American Silver Eagle, they make 40 million coins. Okay, they make 40 million coins. This coin is 25 times rarer. 25 times rarer. And yet I sell it for about a $30 premium to the regular Eagle. Do the math yourself. I mean, I don't have to sit here and do the math for you. You know exactly what's going on out there. Now, here's the problem. There's the sold counter, as you can see. So we're well over what we have. We're about to go under 200 available. And right this instant,
We're going to stretch
give you
past
about maybe another 45 seconds
they
or
will
so.
They will all sell.
I have more people on the phone than I have quantity left, but
I know.
they could be ordering,
exactly.
you know, it's HSN.
That's why we're just going to stretch a minute and we're just like make sure that everyone...
You could order 10,000 different things on HSN.
Exactly.
I have. so I get that, okay? But the important thing is it's such a significant coin. 30th anniversary, the only edge-lettered coin, 30th anniversary. It's absolutely perfect. It's from last year. It's one of the anniversary eagles. It's the rarest satin finish eagle ever made by the United States government. Do not confuse it with the regular mint state coin. It has got the W or West Point mint mark on it, denoting it as a special presentation anniversary coin. This is your chance. This is your opportunity. Remember, comes with the red oak presentation box as well, folks.
So it's 538906. We're going to stamp this out, sold out when every last one is gone, and that will happen in the next minute or so. Don't forget, we did offer that 2016. This is the SP70 SatinFinish Silver Eagle dollar coin, available for you at $149. 538906.